Hey, Cool Gray, I am so excited! We are doing a collab today, and in the social sphere of YouTube, a collab is a collaboration between two or more YouTube channels for purposes of introducing you to some new other content creators here and hopefully to gain new viewers for both of our channels. So let me introduce you to Dolores, better known as the Baking Diva. I love this channel. Dolores is a Italian woman from Jersey, and I'm an Italian woman from New York, even though I'm not in New York anymore. I'm in Florida now. But let me tell you something. When I listen to Dolores speak, it feels like home to me, so I adore her. She also loves to cook, so I adore her. And today we are both making French toast recipes, fancy schmancy French toast recipes. Who doesn't love French toast, right? Well, I am going to give you a overnight cream cheesy French toast that's going to be made up tonight, put in my refrigerator, and baked in the morning. And Dolores is going to make also an overnight, I think it's an overnight, crock pot French toast recipe. So French toast, two ways, new ways. Try them both. After you finished watching this video, head on over to her channel. There will be a link in the description box, and watch her French toast recipe as well. Then make them both. I'm inviting my parents over to eat it tomorrow. Invite your family. It's gonna be delicious. It's gonna be fun. And if I sound a little hyper, it's because I am. It's my first collab. I'm crazy excited. It's also French toast, so you know, reasons to be excited. Let's take a look at what this recipe is going to take. Well, French toast, of course, starts with the toast portion of things, bread. You can make this with the bread of your choice. I have chosen a country potato. It's going to be hearty enough to soak up all that batter, and it'll have, you know, some nice substance, but it's not going to be too grainy. It's nice and smooth. If we're not using Mr. Cool Gray's homemade country white bread, then this is my go-to for this recipe. For our batter, we're going to need 1 dozen eggs, 2 cups of milk, 2 packages of cream cheese, 2 8-ounce packages, a 1/3 cup of maple syrup. Use pure maple syrup. Don't use that sugary stuff that never saw a maple tree. Seriously, folks. And we're going to need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Fairly typical, except for the cream cheese. And then you can use a regular 9x13 baking dish. I'm going to make it in my stoneware because I think everything bakes better in stoneware, and this is a very well-loved stoneware. We're going to mix up our batter in my vintage Pyrex. This was my mom's. It was part of a set that was given to her when she and my dad got married, and now I have this set, and I love it, and I love to talk about my vessels as well as my recipes. And you know what that is, right? Okay, so we're going to mix up our batter. We're going to prepare our bread. We're going to dump the batter on the bread, and we're going to cover it up and stick it in the refrigerator overnight. My dozen eggs are cracked into my vintage bowl. I'm going to add my 2 cups of milk, my 1/3 cup of maple syrup, if I had a spatula, I would use one, but if you've watched any of my other cooking videos, you know my super duper clean little fingers. Sometimes my whole hand's up to the wrists. So far I haven't gone up to the elbows. But if you're not getting your hands in your food, you're doing it wrong. Okay, that's my batter. I'm just gonna whisk it up. Maybe something spilled over the side there. I'm not saying it did. I'm not saying it didn't. Just get it all, get those yolks broken up, and get your batter nice and mixed. And once that's done, we're just going to set it aside while we prepare the bread. Now, maybe you've done this part before, but you probably haven't done that part before. So come along and let's get our bread going. 12 slices of bread, 2 8-ounce packages of cream cheese. What I've done is I've let these soften for about 45 minutes on the counter. That's going to become important because this bread, while hearty, is fairly soft, and we are going to have to spread the cream cheese on this bread. I've also sprayed my baking vessel with some butter-flavored cooking spray. Now I'm going to cut these diagonally. You can cut this bread in half if you want to. Why am I cutting it diagonally? Well, because the original recipe that I worked from said cut them diagonally, so that's what I'm doing. You can cut them any way you want to. So you can see how soft this bread is. That is a good thing because we want it to soak up all the batter, but it may not be so spread friendly. So I'm just going to take a slice of my cream cheese, and I'm not going to go completely crazy here, just kind of get a layer on each slice. And then I'm going to start to arrange those in my baking dish. Now, the original recipe said that you're only going to have a single layer, but I think with 12 slices of bread, I may end up with a double layer today. And you just fit them in the pan however they want to go. Taking the same approach to this that I take when I make my art videos, which is the other thing we do on this channel, which is, you know, to be creative and let things go in the direction they want to go in. Don't stand on ceremony too much. This is going to make your finished French toast so creamy and so delicious, and it puffs up a little bit on baking, which is also a beautiful thing. All right, I'm going to finish up this tray. And then we will show you the very next step. Well, when all was said and done, I ended up with a triple layer. And as you can see, I just got the bread arranged in there loosely. My dog's getting a drink of water. It's almost 10 o'clock at night, guys. You know, things get kind of casual around here. All right, so now I'm going to take my wonderful batter. And oh, by the way, you probably noticed that my vanilla extract was sitting there looking very lonely at the end of the batter process. I do that all the time. I don't know what it is. When I'm doing recipes, I tend to ignore my vanilla extract, but I did put it in off camera. That's my other dog getting a drink of water. It's a very thirsty hour. Now I'm going to take my batter and I'm just going to pour it over the bread. And in the refrigerator overnight, this is just going to soak up all that batter. Can you not just already sense the delicious? Okay. That is my French toast casserole. I'm going to cover it in plastic and put it in the refrigerator overnight. And then I'm going to let you look at my face a little bit more, and we'll talk about what's going to happen in the morning. Tomorrow morning when I take this out, I'm going to let it sit on the countertop for about 30 minutes before I put it in the oven. I believe I'm going to bake it at 350. I have to double check. I think it's 350 for about an hour. Look in the description box to see if I got that right. When it bakes, it's going to puff up a little bit. It's going to get amazing and delicious and creamy and amazing and delicious. While it's in the oven baking and my parents are on their way over here to join us for this feast of deliciousness, Mr. Cool Gray and I are going to be making a blueberry simple syrup to go on top of it. We've got some fresh blueberries. We're going to take some sugar and some water. We're going to cook it all down. It's super quick, super easy, and it's going to go on top of this to make this the most amazing French toast you've ever had, with the possible exception of the Baking Divas Crockpot French Toast. I don't know, I haven't seen her video yet, but I'm going to try it, and I hope you do too. So next time you see me, it'll be another day. I'll probably be dressed differently. I should be dressed differently. And we're going to put this dish together, finish it up, and enjoy it. It is the next morning and the French toast has been in the refrigerator soaking up all that goodness overnight. You'll see there's still a little bit of loose batter mixture in here. That is great. We have our triple layer. The bread is good and soaked and ready to go into the oven. So I'm going to pop it in. I'm going to cover it with some aluminum foil, pop it in for 30 minutes covered. Then I'm going to uncover it and bake it for an additional 25 to 30 minutes. What I'm looking for is a firm center and a little bit of browning around the edges. That's how I'll know it's done. So about an hour in the oven. And then while that's baking, we're going to make this wonderful blueberry simple syrup. So I've got some amazing fresh blueberries. Let me lighten that up for you a little bit. Ah, they're so beautiful. I've got a pint. I've got a cup of sugar. I've got a tablespoon of butter, and then I've got 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and this is our cornstarch of choice. So Mr. Cool Gray is going to step in and do that for us while the French toast is baking. Mom and Dad are on the way over. I can't wait to taste this. So for those of you who have not yet met Mr. Cool Gray, here he is. Say hi, honey.
Hi, honey.
He is going to handle the syrupy part of things today. So we're going to turn things over to him and he's going to talk to you about, or I don't know, are you going to talk or are you just going to do it?
I'm just going to cook.
He's the silent type, the strong silent type. It's why I married him. So we're starting with a cup of water in our beautiful red saucepan. It's all about the vessels. And we're going to bring that to a boil.
Exactly.
And we're adding our smoky sugar, apparently. Our sugar, our cornstarch, and our butter are all going in together while this is coming up to a boil.
Actually, butter goes in later.
Oh, the butter doesn't go in right now?
Goes in at the end.
See, he is going to talk, and it's very important that he does, because he knows how to do this.
Well, it's really very simple. I mean, you're going to bring this up to a boil, and it becomes a simple syrup. And the cornstarch serves to thicken it a little bit. And then it's very simple. That you're just going to add your blueberries and cook them enough that they break down a little. And at the very end, you put in your butter just to give it a little flavor. And that's it.
So are we adding the blueberries as soon as this comes to a boil, or are we waiting for a certain thickness?
Yeah, we're going to let it thicken a little bit, maybe a few minutes.
So look how beautifully thick that's gotten. We're ready to add our blueberries. In they go. Oh, what happens now, honey?
And you just simmer for a few minutes and they will break down.
So after it came to a boil, you turn the heat down to about medium-low?
Yep.
And we're going to leave it at that temperature?
I'm going to keep it simmering, that's all.
For how long does it usually take for this to break down and get gorgeous?
5 minutes or so.
This is about what it's going to look like when you have blueberries. Some of those blueberries are not going to break down, so this is going to be a very berry-ish topping. If you make this with strawberries or raspberries, certainly with raspberries, it'll break down a lot further and be much more like a syrup, and you won't see a lot of fruit in there. Strawberries I would cut into slices before putting it in here. You can use blackberries.
Yeah, honey.
Would you try doing it with cherries, maybe? Pitted cherries?
You could do cherries, sure.
Yeah, it would be the same recipe.
Probably want to cut them in half.
Cut them in half and make sure they're pitted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fruit of your choice. Super quick, we've taken it off the heat and we're just adding the butter. We're going to stir that in and melt that in. What does that do for this?
Just flavor.
Just adds a little creaminess.
Yeah.
Okay. Look how puffy and gorgeous that is. Oh my goodness, can you just see the delicious? We're going to let it sit there for a minute or so and collect itself. And then we're going to serve. Mom and Dad are here. Yay! Come on in. Our guests are here. Our plates are full. We're ready to eat. Let's do a taste test.
Yum. Delish.
Delish. What do you think, Mr. Cool Gray?
More.
Yeah. This is something to get excited about. If you make this recipe, please let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed yourself as much as we did today, would you please like this video? Like by this, do this. There's a little place where you can do that. please consider subscribing if you haven't already. We'd love to have you on board. We do cooking videos and we do art videos around here. Check out some more videos while you're over here. Head over to the Baking Divas channel and look at her French toast recipe. And I will see you next time.